TV aboard for the Rugby World Cup? Hey, I mean for the kids.
Oi, for the kids, eh?
Well, you've won with our Harry's Panasonic promotion.
Good morning, it's 9 o'clock.
Good morning. I'm Vijay Narayan with the special update on Tropical Cyclone Mel. A lot of information coming through quickly to us in relation to the system, and you are listening to us live from the Legend FM studio, and we are also on Fiji Village on our social media platforms. Category 3 Tropical Cyclone Mel is now showing signs of weakening as it moves towards Kandavu. The center of TC Mel is located 155 kilometers southwest of Nandi or 205 kilometers west-northwest of Kandavu. Acting Director of the Nandi Weather Office, Bipen Prakash, says this indicates that the system has passed Nandi and it's now moving close to Kandavu. It is currently moving southeast at a speed of 31 kilometers per hour. Be mindful that while the wind should gradually ease over the Yasawa and Mamanuda groups in western Vitilevu, gale force winds may continue to be experienced for a few more hours. The risk of storm to gale force winds are still maintained for Vatulele, Kandavu, and nearby smaller islands. Current analysis indicates that the destructive hurricane force winds associated with the system is confined close to the center. Further rainfall will increase the risk of flooding in low lying and flood prone areas, and we have more information coming through about that. The Weather Office says a heavy rain warning remains in force for the whole of Fiji. The Weather Office says a flash flood warning remains in force for flash flood prone areas, small streams, and low lying areas of Viti Levu. A flash flood alert remains in force for flash flood prone areas, small streams, and low lying areas in Bua and the Kaunrove provinces in Vanuatu. An active trough of low pressure with associated cloud and rain will continue to affect the country. A storm warning is in force for the Kandavu Passage. A gale warning is in force for the Vatuira Passage and Koro Sea. A strong wind warning is in force for the rest of the Fiji waters. Expect hurricane force winds with phenomenal seas and heavy swells. And the National Disaster Management Office is pleading with the general public this hour to stay indoors and refrain from unnecessary roaming to enable the relevant authorities to clear debris and complete the necessary restoration works required to ensure the safety of the public in the immediate aftermath of the disaster. The NDMO also says they have received reports of fallen power lines and fallen trees that are presently obstructing accessibility in some parts of the country. Please note there is a fallen power line along Holland Street in Suva. We advise people to stay indoors for now as we have fallen power lines and trees in certain areas. Some sections of the main Queens and Kings roads are blocked due to fallen trees. This includes Matawai Levu in Rakiraki on Kings Road and Nyambavu in Nadronga Navosa on Queens Road. FRA says their contractor is currently en route to remove the debris and reopen these sections. They are also encouraging people to stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel. They are also advising people to exercise caution and follow the instructions of relevant authorities. The Fiji Bus Operators Association confirms that bus services will remain suspended throughout the country. Association General Secretary Rohit Lachan says services will remain suspended until clearance has been granted by the National Disaster Management Office and the Fiji Roads Authority. Lachan says the decision to cease services is because the safety of the public is a top priority during this adverse weather. Meanwhile, the Fiji Taxi Association confirms that taxi services will continue as normal. And people in Nadi are still experiencing gale force winds this morning. Anna Maria of Muasala Road in Nadi says residents are all indoors at the moment as strong winds continue to affect them. When Fiji Village News contacted her this morning, Maria said they are also worried about flooding due to the heavy rain and flash flood warning in place. People are urged to take heed of the weather updates and act responsibly as the warnings are still in place. People of Kandavu are now experiencing the first effects of Category 3 Tropical Cyclone Mel as gusty winds and heavy rain started early this morning. Kandavu Provincial Administrator Chochi Wangata says after their last brief this morning, they were advised by the Weather Office that the center of TC Mel will be close to Kandavu at about midday today. Wangata says they have been contacting the village headmen around the island and advising them of the changes and the plans for today. He says some of the evacuation centers on the island have opened and some have been occupied from last night. A fault has caused a disruption to power supply in most parts of the Western Division. Energy Fiji Limited says the areas affected include Momi and areas nearby most parts of Nandi, including parts of Nawaka and areas near it. They have also confirmed that sparking power lines due to strong winds has also caused a disruption to power supply, which is affecting customers in whole of Lomolomo and nearby areas in Lautoka. EFL says their team will work on restoring power to the affected areas, weather permitting, and as soon as conditions are safe to do so. So that's the latest so far. We still have the heavy rain warning in place for the whole of the country, the flash flood warning in place for the whole of Viti Levu, the flash flood alert in place for Mbua and Dhaka provinces. We also have fallen trees and fallen power lines. A lot of people are on the road at the moment, coordinated by the National Disaster Management Office to get those things cleared. Please stay listening, stay indoors for now. There's no bus services, according to the Fiji Bus Operators Association, and we have seen some taxis operating on the road, but other than that, most of the taxis are not on the road this morning. Most of the businesses are closed at the moment. Only essential staff are out and about. Please take care at this point in time. We will continue to get you the latest information. Stay with us.